It's not often that President Bush, Yasser Arafat, and UN Secretary General Kofi Annan agree on anything, but right now, they're all united against a massive construction project being undertaken by Israel, a fence designed to keep Palestinian suicide bombers out of Israeli cities. Few argue with Israel's right to defend itself. Heads of state across the globe agree with that. But what they're saying is where this particular fence is being built, it may prove less an obstacle to terror than to peace between Israelis and Palestinians. It has been called the barrier, the obstacle, the fence, and the wall. And when you drive along it, you discover it's all these things, part wall, part fence, and more. We call it a fence simply because, measured in miles, it's more fence than anything else. It snakes through the olive groves and stamps the landscape with a network of barbed wire, guard towers, cameras, and sensors. There are gates, there are checkpoints. It's about a third built right now, but by the time it's finished, it'll be over 400 miles long and carry a price tag of some $2 billion, a staggering sum for the cash-strapped state of Israel.
It is very simple here to understand why we need this fence. You can see Nablus.
General Eval Giladi is the chief of strategic planning for the Israeli army, which is in charge of building the fence. He took us to a place where suicide bombers have managed to pass from the West Bank into Israel.
And as you see, it's an open area. Once you start walking here, there is nothing to stop you.
That is, until the army started putting up the fence. And they claim that in the areas where it's been built, attacks have gone way down.
It is very effective, very relevant, and prevents a lot of terrorism. It is very expensive, but I think that it is much cheaper than the price of life.
And who could argue with that? The controversy is not over Israel's right to defend itself from terrorism, but over how it's doing it. In this case, over exactly where it's building this fence. The army first suggested putting it up more or less on what's called the Green Line, the border between Israel and the West Bank, which is the territory Israel conquered in the '67 war. That was also the plan of Israel's Labor Party, which first conceived of the fence. No one really had a problem with that fence, not the United States or the United Nations. No one, except Ariel Sharon and his followers, most notably the Jewish settlers on the West Bank. So when Sharon became prime minister, he changed the route of the fence radically. His fence cuts deeply into the West Bank. It puts dozens of Jewish settlements and large chunks of Palestinian land on the Israeli side of the fence. But the fence being built today doesn't only cut through Palestinian land, it cuts through Palestinian lives. In the West Bank town of Qalqilia, home to 40,000 Palestinians, the fence is a wall 30 feet high on the side of the city that faces Israel. But that's not all. The wall goes all around the town, closing it off from other Palestinian villages in the West Bank, which was not at all the idea when the fence was first conceived. Now if the residents of Qalqilia want to leave, there's only one exit, an army checkpoint, and they're not allowed to drive their cars through. They've literally been moved back in time. Unemployment is 60% today, and a third of the shops have closed.
They are surrounding us. They are catching us from our neck so as not to remain here.
Palestinian farmer Atta Atta lives in Qalqilia, says he hasn't been able to get to his greenhouses, which lie on the other side of that wall. He asked me why America so often seems to take Israel's side. When the American people watch television and see Israeli children with their heads and arms and legs blown off by a terrorist bomb, I think they're very sympathetic to the Israelis.
I will answer you. If the Israelis give us our rights, give us our land, we will live together like brothers. We must fight so as to return our land.
So you fight and the Israelis build fences?
Yeah, because the Israelis are the stronger and we are the weak. We can't do anything.